Roaring Judy.
Roaring David.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Kansas.
have a wild Colorado rainbow trout.
Is it a wild?
Why do you think it's wild? Is it the fact that it's coming from a pond that's connected to a hatchery? That makes it wild.
He might still eat it though. Yep. Ah. He ate it how he's supposed to.
There's two ways you can fish a trout magnet in something like this. One is twitching. So if you notice, all I have is my fluorocarbon leader and then the trout magnet. No split shot, no float. Luke just caught a couple on the float. And so we'll show you what both of those look like. So for me, if I'm just twitching, I've got the high sun, and so I'm using my polarized glasses to watch the fish. So I'm getting it out there and letting it sink to right up off the bottom if I can. And I'm just shaking that rod tip and reeling very slowly. And I'm watching my lure. And I see a fish approaching it, and he kind of bugged off. But I'm not gonna worry, I'm just gonna keep that same presentation. I'm shaking that rod tip, a slow reel. There's still fish right in that general vicinity, but we've already caught 3, so we may not get one on this cast. Oh, come on.
Oh, we bit it. He got it.
And I set the hook the second I see my jig disappear.
Right up in there. Seen a bunch of fish swimming in over there. There he is.
Thanks, Mr. Guide. Again, it helps on these bright days to fish with a bright color if you can get the bites with that, because I wasn't looking for fish, I was watching my lure. And when the lure disappears, it's in a fish's mouth.
All right, here we are. This will be float method here in the pond. Got 2-pound SOS, 2-pound Phantom fluorocarbon leader. It's got a float. In this case, we're not having to cast very far, no split shot, just down to a white magnet with a silver head. Got a lot of fish just cruising around out here, and we're gonna flick this out and let it sit. There's 2 ways you can work it: popping it and letting it sit. And if you've got a clear body of water like this, you can watch and let the fish tell you what they want. Right now we're gonna let it sit. Got a couple fish slowly swimming around it.
So sometimes less is more.
Sometimes less is more. Sometimes they really want you to pop it. I'm giving a couple pops now, maybe get their attention. Looks like one's going to check it out, and I'm gonna kill it. Give it a couple pops again. He's thinking about it. There's a couple more on this lip. We're gonna bring it in just a little bit closer.
We have already caught 5 from right here, so. Oh. Nice.
There he is. You see, he was doing nothing and he couldn't stand it. So sometimes you just got to read the fish and what you've got. Sometimes they want it moving, and sometimes they can't stand it if it's sitting there. There he is, just a nice little rainbow trout, stalker size. Get them off and back in. It's a world of difference. You know, every single one of these fish we've caught, we've been looking at. I'm looking at one right now. He's nosing it. Didn't want it. Now we haven't moved still. We're still in the same exact spot. We've caught, what, 7 fish now? Caught 6, hooked 7. They're probably getting a little wise to us, but if you're fishing a pond like this, what I like to do before you start bombing cast, fish right up next to you instead of, I'm talking too much, but that way you're not disturbing fish. If you cast across the pond, you might spook all the fish that are right in front of you that you could have caught. So I like to start closer and work my way out to them.
So I made several casts twitching, and they would follow, but I didn't catch them. So I decided to put the float back on. It's an easy switch. Also, the wind's starting to pick up a little bit, and the clouds are starting to roll back in. So it's important to understand how to do both methods, because they both shine in their own right. There's a little guy. So there are tons of these little ponds, and you can have a lot of fun with the Trout Magnet up in Colorado, fishing these little ponds and even alpine lakes, twitching or fishing on a float. So we'll look them all.